Progress or death. Great oratory allows transparency. The truth should be told, not sold. So unlearn and relearn. You know what I was thinking about earlier? And I was talking to my one of my brothers about this. You ever heard that song? Man eater. Oh, here she come. She's a man eater. You ever heard that song? I'm sure a lot of people have heard it. Um, Especially the older crowd, the older listeners. But I was thinking, right? What do they call, besides that word, they don't use that word, but what do they call women that abuse men and use men and do the same things that they call a womanizer, which is a male that takes advantage of women and have a bunch of women. They call it a gallus down here. They call it a womanizer in America. They call them a dog. They have all kinds of names for men. But what names do they have for women that do these kind of things? So I came up with my own name. If you could come up with a name, drop it under the comments below. Or email me, whatever the case may be. But I came up with Manizer. Some people didn't like that. My brother didn't like that. But Manizer is just like womanizer. Manizer makes sense. She's a manizer. She takes advantage of men. She uses men. She got multiples of men. Stuff like that. I call them a manizer. I feel like that's a good word. And we need to identify women that does these things to men, because I feel like women get a certain pass because I guess it's like if a male is being abused by a woman, it doesn't count because he's supposed to be a man. But men have feelings too, and their feelings will overcome their strength or their physical prowess over a woman. So you can't say, oh, be a man. No. When you have feelings involved with something in a woman and she's abusing it and taking control and manipulating. I've heard of a guy down here, I'm not even going to say his name, but he's familiar with my family, my mother. He was paying a female's rent for like 3 years straight, and he never even went to the house. He wasn't even allowed to go to the house. So she's a manizer. She was abusing a man that liked her, and she took advantage of him. He's a fool. He was a simp, and I can't blame him. If you're a simp and you get taken advantage of, good for you. You deserve it. And if you don't learn from it, you deserve it to happen to you again. So you got to watch out for these manizers. Identify them. As men, we need to identify them and cut them off. And don't give them nothing. Because they have, a manizer will have 10 guys on rotation or more. Because remember, a woman is being approached every single day by different groups of men. Some of them have money to spend on them. And when you're in a culture like Jamaica, where it is expected that a man spend money, then women are going to collect men by the boatloads, especially those, like I said before, those brown women that everybody want and consider pretty. They have 20 guys on their list. And they'll call up one, or these guys are actually just spending money on them. They just dumping the money on them. And these women, they're using them. They don't have to do anything with them. They might sleep with one or two of them, the ones that they like, and get what they can out of them. But the rest of them is basically buying their way in just to get time, just to sniff them. $10,000. Okay, babe. Boom. They just want to sniff. They just want to touch. They just want to feel. And they just dropping the money. And these women are getting over. They're getting over so hard. And we as men haven't really exposed these things and exposed these women, because we always give women the benefit of the doubt, like they're not doing this, they're not like men are like this. All right, what about those women that have 10, 15, 20 men on rotation and she's playing all of them? How come she get a pass? Huh? I'll wait. How come she get a pass? How come her behavior is not considered abusive? She's a manizer. She's a man eater. She chews them up and she spits them out. She chews them up again. Uses up all their resources. Don't give them no time. Don't give them no, nookie, whatever you want to call it. And then you just go to the next one. But that's the game. But we need to identify these women and call them for what they are and put them in categories so we know who to deal with. Because when a man come around, everybody know what he is. Oh, this dude, he's a womanizer. He's the gallus. He sleeps. He got too much women. They already identify men, but they don't do that with women. They don't say, oh, yo, that chick right there got a bunch of dudes. Don't mess with her. She got like 10 dudes. You don't do it to yourself, bro. Sometimes we do that, but we don't do it as much because dudes are so dumb. Let me not even say dumb. Some of them are just dumb. They just have this thing in their head that they're going to go after it, not realizing it's a bunch of you doing the same things, that you're doing the same thing that 20 other dudes are doing. Approaching her a certain way, offering her money. So what's she going to do? Of course you're going to take it. You're just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? The dude that's probably getting the most out of her is the dude that didn't do what all you numbnuts did. He's the one he's not even doing nothing. But that's how it works. But we need to just identify these women for what they are and start building with each other as men and not to get used and abused. Because, your resources are valuable. Your time is valuable. Stop being a sucker. Stop being a simp. You understand? But carry on.